Hey, welcome. If you're managing a brand's investment in esports, you already know it's one of the most exciting, high growth frontiers out there. But let's be honest, you also know it can be incredibly volatile. Today, we're going to talk about how you can actually bring some real stability and security to your esports strategy, all by understanding a new institutional standard.
This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of the whole problem, doesn't it? A team can be at the absolute top of their game, winning every tournament with millions of fans, but if the organization itself isn't built to last, well, your investment is on pretty shaky ground. That's the core challenge we're going to tackle. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll uncover some of those hidden risks lurking in the esports market. Then we'll get into the critical difference between a team's performance and our organization's actual long-term viability. After that, we'll introduce the OVO standard as a solution, break down its evaluation framework, and wrap up with a solid, actionable plan to protect your sponsorship dollars. All right, let's dive right in. If we want to make smart investments, we've got to look past the flashy stage lights and the huge prize pools to really understand the market's underlying structure, or in a lot of cases, the lack of one. The best way to think about evaluating an esports org is to picture an iceberg. What we all see, the tournament wins, the famous players, the huge follower counts, that's just the tip. It's exciting for sure, and it's where most of the due diligence stops. But the real danger to your brand, the massive risk, is hiding right below the surface. We're talking fragmented operations, inconsistent structures, the kind of systemic instability that can sink an organization and your investment practically without warning. And that brings us to a really crucial distinction. What's the actual difference between a team that has one amazing season and an organization that's truly built to last for a decade? Let's break down why a winning record on its own is no guarantee of a safe investment. The key idea here is something called organizational maturity. So picture this. You've got two teams. Team A just won a major championship. Their social media is blowing up, but behind the scenes, players are on shaky verbal contracts and the finances are being run out of the owner's personal checking account. Now Team B, they finished fourth, but they have a dedicated management team, solid multi-year player contracts with health benefits, and clean, transparent financial reporting. So which organization is the safer partner for a 3-year sponsorship deal? That's the difference between temporary performance and long-term viability. And this isn't just a theory, by the way. This is a global issue. Take a rapidly growing market like India. The esports scene there is absolutely exploding with talent and viewers. But the lack of institutional structure, things we take for granted, like standardized contracts or stable management, it creates this deep instability. A team can be on top of the world one day and then completely dissolve the next over a simple player dispute. And that, of course, is a massive risk for any sponsor. So with all this fragmentation and hidden risk, how can you, as a sponsor, possibly make confident decisions? Well, this is where a new framework comes in, to replace all that informal guesswork with some real institutional clarity. OVO, which stands for One Vision Optimized, is basically an independent third-party authority. Its whole purpose is to cut through all that market noise and provide a single, consistent benchmark for what actually makes an esports organization a legitimate, stable, and viable business partner for brands like yours. And this slide gives you the perfect analogy. Honestly, the easiest way to think about an OVO rating is to compare it to a credit score. You would never, ever approve a major business loan just based on a company's social media hype, right? No. You'd check their credit report. The OVO rating serves the exact same purpose. It's an objective, standardized measure of an organization's structural health before you commit $1 of your marketing budget. Okay, so a credit score for esports organizations. That sounds fantastic. But how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood and look at the mechanics of the OVO evaluation framework. The process is really systematic and clear. First, an organization has to meet some basic eligibility requirements, just to get in the door. Then comes the real heart of it, a totally confidential and independent structural evaluation against a fixed set of institutional standards. Finally, based on that deep dive, the organization gets classified into a specific operating tier. And this right here, this is the output that matters most to you. The tiers give you a simple, direct translation of an org's stability into your risk as a sponsor. A Tier 1 organization, they've proven they have high stability, which means a secure, low-risk investment for your brand. A Tier 3 organization, though, has low stability, meaning any partnership with them carries a very high degree of risk. It's a clear, data-driven guide to protect your marketing spend. It's that simple. Okay, so now that we understand the problem and the solution, let's get to the best part. how do you actually integrate this knowledge to protect and optimize your own sponsorship portfolio? This chart really puts it all into perspective. An institutionalized Tier 1 partner is system-driven. Their success doesn't just depend on one star player or one charismatic founder. That fundamentally lowers your brand risk. A non-institutionalized partner, on the other hand, is almost always dependent on individuals and short-term wins, which makes them incredibly volatile and a much, much riskier bet for any long-term brand building. So here's the crucial takeaway. You need to apply this framework to your own strategy. Use these questions as a quick health check on your current and potential partners. Ask yourself, is their stability just based on a recent hot streak? What happens if their star player leaves or the owner loses interest? Are you betting on hype, or are you investing in a real, sustainable business? And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. In a world that's always changing, building your brand's presence on a foundation of genuine organizational stability, well, that isn't just a defensive move. It's the smartest path to long-term success in the dynamic world of esports.